Yes, how are you? Your trainer, Mr. Ngige. I'll be taking you through our unit of competency, perform TCP IP networking. We have worked on static routing, whereby we assigned IP addresses statically, and in our case, we are now going to configure a DHCP, and a DHCP, it means DHCP is Dynamic Host Configurations Protocol, and is a method for automatically assigning IP addresses to devices on a network. So static IP address is a fixed address assigned to a device. That one you assign it statically. So for example, if you're in a large network, you don't need to be configuring devices manually. You need to configure them dynamically. So that's why in this experiment you're going to see how we can assign a router the role of a DHCP server. So I hope you're going to enjoy as I take you through this experiment. So welcome. So what you need in this experiment is a packet tracer, and we should configure this kind of a topology. So you have a printer, you have a switch, you have a PC, you have the server, you have the laptop, and you have a router. So this is the physical mode topology. So in this experiment, students have to perform the following activities of Cisco Packet Tracer. You set up the physical topology, that's figure 1, what you have seen above. You configure the router interfaces. It's good to know that IP addresses are configured on a router interfaces. Then you need to set up the DHCP server to assign IP addresses dynamically to the network. Here we are going to do some configurations. So background preparations. It's good to mention that the DHCP is going to help us to automatically configure IP addresses on the local subnet and appropriate DHCP options to allow access to the internet. The DHC pool, so we are going to create a DHC pool using the IP address or the network 192.168.1.0.24, that's the prefix length network, but the first 48 are excluded. So this is what you call the DHCP IP address reservations. The default gateway, the DS server also not to be configured as 192.168.1.1. So by default, the router acts as the gateway. So a gateway helps you to go to the internet or to connect to other network remotely or remotely. So in our setup, our step is 1. These are the commands, the one that we have on the one in bold, dark and bold. So the first number 1 is to, first of all, is to configure the interfaces. Then you are going to perform the following on the router. IP DHCP excluded address 192.168.1.1, 192.168.1 to 45. This is whereby these ones, they are reserved. And it's good you notice that once we enter this command, you will discover that the end devices will be assigned an IP address from 50 and above. So the other thing is to create the pool, IP DHCP pool, pool 1. So the network we are in is pool 1. Then you also need to configure the network. So the network is the one written network 192.168.1.0.255.255.255.0. Then the other thing we need to still on the router is to type the command DNS server 192.168.1.10. Then the default router is another command we need to enter in the router. And then the last is also whatever command we entered above this one, so we repeat it at the end. So this is what we are going to do. That's our step 1. Configure the DH service. Number 2 is after you do that, you open the command prompt window, then you type ipconfig, you check the IP addresses, and also you can do a ping. So you ping the devices, or you also check, you can also go to the desktop and then you check the IP configurations that have been assigned. So that is one way of verifying whether the DHCP worked. So these resources, the references is CCNA Lab manual, and also some YouTube links are here. So thank you. So continue to practice on this activity in your packet tracer. So I would encourage you, take your packet tracer and perform these experiments. So I'm going to show you a demonstration on how to do the following. So let us open our packet tracer. So number 1 is that we are going to pick this router. We pick that router. Number 2 is we are supposed to pick a switch. Number 3, we are going to pick the end devices. And the other thing is now is just to configure our devices. We can configure, we can also pick another device. We can pick another device, maybe a printer. I think that is what was on our network. Yes, you can pick that. So now the next thing is to go to cables. We pick that cable, connect it to the switch. Then you also connect the switch with the router. So we have already made our setup. So what remains is now to configure the router. So number 1 is we go to we click the router and we go to CLI. Then we type number. Then our command is enable config t. Then it's good we configure the interface. So int it's gig 00 IP address 192.168.1.1.255.255.255.0. Then we put the command no shut. So you can see that now our interface is up. So you can just click exit. Now let's enter. The first thing is to configure the IP DHCP excluded address. So it's IP DHCP excluded. There's a hyphen address. Then the address is 192.168.1.1 all the way to 192.168.1.49. So that command is to enable us to perform what we call DHCP reservation. We enter. The next thing is to call this one, to label it IP DHCP pool. Let's call it a pool 1. We enter. So IP DHCP pool, we call it pool 1. Then the network is network 192.168.1.0. Subnet is 255.255.255.0. Then you enter. Then the next thing is we are supposed now to put the DNS server configurations, DNS-server. Then the IP address of the DNS is 192.168.1.10. Enter. Then the default router command by default is the IP that we are saying to the router, that is 192.168.1.1. Then you say enter. Then you can exit from that mode. Then from that you enter the command that we entered on DHCP. So we can use our hotkey. Remember the key, the up arrow. It's one of the hotkeys. So the moment you click on it, it gives us the previous command that we entered on that level. So after that, we can just enter. We can exit. It's good in the work you do. You save. So you can say write summary. This is a command for saving your work. Write. So you can just say write. Okay. So that is the configurations that you are supposed to do on our router. So let's now go to this computer here and then see what happens. So we go to this desktop section and then click on IP address. We have static, but now let's check on this icon, DHCP. We have a DHCP request successful. So this one have been assigned 50. So you can see that one operation was a success. Also now to verify, we can again go back to, we can close on this and now go to command prompt. You can just write ipconfig, but only want to see which IP has been assigned to this device. Ipconfig, enter, and you can see the IP address assigned is 192.168.1.50 and default gateway is 192.168.1.1. So I hope you have seen how a router can be configured as a DHCP server. So yours is to practice Also, let's check on the other device. We see what has been assigned, IP. So check on the icon DHCP. So you can see DHCP request successful. So also on the command prompt, you can also perform the same, just write IP config. You see the IP that has been assigned, IP config. So it's 51. You can see that the IP are being assigned from 51 upward because we excluded. So if we did not exclude, then it could assign IP, for example, in that range, 1 to, that is 2 all the way to 50 and without restriction. So I hope you have enjoyed, and I'm happy to have taken you through this experiment. So before we meet for the next class, I wish that you do what you have done today, and also if you have liked the video or the demonstration, kindly like the video, and also remember to share and subscribe. Thank you very much. I've been your trainer, Mr. Ngige. Thank you.